Hey folks, it's Lucid and welcome back. We're jumping back into our game with Lanka, and we are deep in a war with Satis. We were in an odd situation. We won a decisive battle against Satis. I think one which Satis thought he would win. And with that, we leveraged that into taking his cap because most of his troops weren't in position. He thought he could hold it with the original army. But immediately upon taking his cap, a Doomstack appears which would absolutely murder everything we had in the region. So we actually evacuated Satis's cap. And Satis took his cap back last turn and reinforced that army that we saw that was very scary. But we think we figured out a way to kill it. And it was sneaking in our god. And let us see if that actually happened. We will have the dessert first. So here's my army. This may look very similar to the test game. So that is my army. This is Satis's army. A bunch of guys clustered. The whole idea of this is stall the battle while he enslaves all my dudes. And put a lot of buffs, especially on the mages and the elite warriors near the core. Unfortunately, Earthquake's not going to hit these Draconians, but what am I going to do? So you know the script. You know what the plan is. Let's see how it actually plays out when it matters. One of the important variables is, do we get magic dueled? And I think I think we haven't gotten magic, anti-magic off yet. And remember, we're in Magic 1, and Satis's Bless is Arcane Finesse. Okay, and we land, and at the same time as we land, down comes the first volley of Earthquake. Man, every skeleton wave feels really bad. Thunderstrike coming down, hitting some of his mages. The Thunderstrike is coming from Dakini, who are tied up to a little miniature communion here with our communion slaves. Big earthquakes coming down. I think there's Bloodlust going off in case I haven't done it before. And again, you remember this battle's always going to look a little weird for us, like it's going to look like we're outnumbered. But we're killing off with the Earthquake such a big percent of their army. What we're really doing is just causing an HP rout. And I think we did get anti-magic off. Oh no, we didn't. I didn't even have that for this fight. I thought I did. We'll have to come back and see what happens. Something must have happened to my Crystal Sorceress. It's possible, too, I have different RNG for this battle, but I think Satis, if he's not routed, he's very close. But he's stealing a lot of my dudes. This might be an alternate universe where I don't get anti-magic off. Something snipes it or something. Okay, now Satis is routed, so we're going to win now. But a lot of his guys are making it off. Actually, these guys here who are paralyzed are going to just kind of hold the gate, block his mages from escaping. But a lot of his mages are getting off. I think, honestly, this was kind of the worst outcome we could get. And it was entirely to do with anti-magic not going off. Let's go back and figure out why that happened. Where's our little crystal lady? Oh, he did magic duel. Okay, yeah, so he figured it out and magic dueled her. That was what happened. I probably have to bring like 4 or 5 of them to actually get it off. But it's going to be actually kind of tricky for me to do that. So I think what I'm going to have to do in future fights is have a plan to win without having anti-magic off. Like, this is pretty costly for me. It was far more costly for him, I think, but if we look at the ledger, we lost our Crystal Sorceress, we lost a Scout and a Shadow Imp, so we lost almost no mages. We picked up the Winged Shoes. Fortunately, he was on the Crystal Sorceress too. We lost a bunch of chaff, which we don't care about. We lost 60 Rakshasa warriors, which, if you think about it, our blood income, we get 5 per 25. So per 100 slaves, we get 20, and we make about 200 slaves a turn. So this is about a turn and a half of Sacreds. So not that much. When you compare it to what he lost 6 Sauramancers, 5 Reborn. Some of these would come back as white mages, but if he did these in his capital, they won't. But maybe he did them somewhere else. We got 4 of the white mages who aren't coming back, and we got 31 of the shamans. We also got the Kutail, which is nice. I don't know if this was a merc or if Satis can summon them, so it could have also just been the summon. And then we killed most of his elite warriors. So this is, $1,600 in elite warriors. The gold loss here is pretty staggering. So there was that. He also moved here on top of general abandonment. And what happened was his army, which was on Satis, was moving onto the fort that I was in, rather than staying to storm the fort. And he was moving this army to intercept it. But it's very dangerous moving 2 armies from adjacent provinces into an army that may march into you. Because the only time movement rules are really complicated in Dominions, like normally your army just goes where you tell it. But if you're moving into a tile that the enemy's in, and the enemy's moving into you, then it's going to be random which tile the battle occurs in. There will be a battle, but it's random which tile. These guys were going to reinforce moving into to General Abandonment, which was a province just south of Satis. So he was going to move 2 armies in, fight me in General Abandonment, but instead they came separately. This may have been enough, especially since anti-magic didn't go up, to tilt the battle in Satis' favor. If these armies actually combined. Instead, he ended up just fighting my Long Dead, which ended up killing all his Draconians, which I feel pretty okay about. And this kind of looks like a win for him, but he didn't kill any of my Mound Kings, and yeah, these guys are all alive, so feels okay. We have a battle here on top of this. This is a fort, I think. Yeah, and then he comes and knocks me off this fort with a Blackhawk. But I think we're going to be heading back over that way. And we also cleared out... There was a Crystal Sorceress in here, too. She actually paralyzed me, I think, for a little bit. I think she powered to the sphere. Oh, no, she was just... Oh, man, that was lucky. This was an Astral 2 Crystal Sorceress. That's super lucky. Anyway, she Mind Burns, but none of that... He's got too much HP for him to really care about Mind Burn very much. Yeah. They'll just eventually kill themselves with Blood Vengeance, and she'll kill herself with Blood Vengeance too. So we take that. Yeah. And the thug that Magic faced here killed a couple priests and some a fair amount of PD. There's like, I think, at least 30 PD. And our goon squad moved on top and also cracked it. So we can go ahead and storm the castle with these idiots. We're storming with just mist form flight. We're blessing these couple idiots, having them run in, and then we'll jump in and attack behind them. It's kind of the idea. He's got a few guys here. So his army retreated off of Satis, and they went in these surrounding forts. There's some guys here. He's got some dudes here. And again, you can't really tell what's in these by looking at the thing. Like, this is mostly Elite Warriors and Shamans, but it's showing almost all Shamans. This one here is mostly Elite Warriors and then some Shamans and some Serpents. And here it's, again, mostly Elite Warriors and some Shamans. And apparently, he told me he has been trading Fire Gems with Macone. And that is one of the reasons... Because we're going to talk about it next turn, which is my current turn. But there's some diplomacy going on where he's trying to convince me not to fight him. But I think at this point he's kind of wrecked. We'll talk about his offer. He made a very interesting, intriguing offer that has me thinking about it. But I've been thinking about it for a while. I want to talk about it with you guys, because sometimes just talking to y'all helps me think through things. But I'm kind of inclined against taking it right now. We'll see, because I feel like he's, conquering Satis, it's never going to be easy, right? Especially with Well of Misery up. So I think this is the easiest time in the game, without a doubt, to conquer Satis. If you compare our relative powers. But his proposition has to do with him being an ally and helping with Macone. And in that sense, there would be real value to having, Satis come over here and mess with Macone. But I've already spent a lot trying to take it, and I would prefer to have his lands as my own, even if it does cost me a few more troops. But I don't know. We'll talk about it, because I think it's worth really thinking through this. And I don't want to make the wrong move. So, but right now, the way the world is shaping up is there's basically Ubar, who has all of this. This is where Arco was, and Ubar's now basically conquered Arco. So Ubar is like this, right? He's got the whole left-hand side of the map. I'm working on getting the whole right-hand side of the map. And then Macone is going to have most of the middle of the map. And then the ocean nations are still busy fighting each other, but right now Oceania is winning. Though we can see not winning so badly. Or actually, we can't see it all, because I have no scouts over there. But I'm trading some gems for lanterns and stuff to Atlantis over here. Hopefully he holds out for longer. So, yeah, I think that's basically the plan. We've got... we're making a... What are we trying to do? Well, one of the nice things about Lanka is you can rapidly reinforce forward positions, either through reanimating Solus, which give you a lot of siege chaff really quickly, or in our case, through summoning Rakshasa warriors, which are pretty mage turn efficient. So if you have your combat mages on the front line, as long as they're blood 2, they can summon a bunch of Rakshasa warriors. And Rakshasa warriors are no joke. So here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got 8 casters, so that's 8 times 5. It's going to be 40 more sacreds here next turn, just puffed out of thin air. We're going to be storming this, and we're going to have this guy coming in over here too, and then these guys will be able to reinforce. I'm not sure what he's going to do. I think there's a few plays. I think the most likely thing is he tries to come and sit on top of Satis right now, like takes these guys and moves over here. If that happens, who did I have moving over? I've got some idiot moving over here. I can't even remember who it is. Oh, it's this guy. And he's bringing a lot of sacreds. Yeah, actually, a really unlucky event's about to happen. He's bringing a lot of sacreds. He's going to do Divine Blessing. And I've got also coming in a Dakini who's going to do Mass Flight and Blood Rain. And the combination of like 50 sacreds, I'm hoping will kill whatever he's got on top of this. So that's basically the play. But it's a little risky because I'm going to be risking a lot of the sacreds I currently have. But it's risky because if the battle takes place on top of Satis, then it won't be the combined force. It will just be whoever he's got. Well, actually, it could be potentially all these guys. Everybody in this tile, this tile, this tile, and this tile, versus only him. So there'd be no mass flight or anything. And he would definitely get crushed that way. So, yeah, that's kind of the plan. It's a little risky, but we're getting a ton of reinforcements, and I can get a lot more by the time he would actually crack Satis' fort. So anyway, yeah, our god, she's geared up where I'm not really worried about her getting killed by assassins. So anyway, she's going to hang tight and help us summon Rakshasa warriors, which we'll see is also going to be a problem. And with that, let's go to my current turn. And we'll talk a bit more too in this turn about like diplomacy and how it's unfolding. So here is our turn. YOLO, which is never something you want to see when you log into a turn. And then betting everything on DRN. If your god fails resist, I think I can still fight. So he is hitting my god with Vengeance of the Dead, which is pretty clever of him to think of. This is, by the way, his like second multiplayer game. And he's not playing like it's his second multiplayer game. Because my god killed a shit ton of dudes from Earthquake. And now they are coming back to mess with her. And she's going to be immune to them. And Blade Wings is not really great because they're ethereal. What would be really good here is if I had Fire Shield or something. But Vine Shield, not super duper great. I mean, it's going to keep me alive. Soul Vortex, if I had put... I mean, I've got... I don't think that's an option. Anyway, we end up just meleeing him down, and I put the battle counter. For whatever reason, for this one, normally battle counters don't go to 150. This one actually goes to 150. We almost kill everything. The problem with this is multifold. We don't get our bless, so that sucks. And it's about to go to 150. This is how you use Vengeance of the Dead. You basically use it when they can't kill everything by the turn timer, and then they die. So it's a kind of weird gimmicky spell, but anyway, very good use of it here. Kills my god, which of course takes my bless offline. Here, Ashen Angel hits a Raksharaja, and this is... We'll just watch how this works. It comes up, it kills my Sacred guarding him. I probably don't need Sacred's guarding. Get some air elementals, he kills him, he comes in, and we smack him on the face for 52 damage. So, get wrecked. I don't even think we had the chance to use Copper Plate. I think we just killed him before he even hit us. So anyway, that's that. But then we have a very bad event, which is... down here, we get attacked. This is after the blood hunting, after magic phase, but before normal battles. Our Prophet, who was a little bit horror marked and has anti-assassin gear, gets attacked by Horrors, and it's 2 Float Cat Horrors. And Float Cat Horrors have a Drain Life attack, so they're kind of hard to kill because they can stay alive. And they have a Distorted Claw, which does armor negating damage. And I think they also have damage reversal, yeah. Here they're not very interested in my bull or my little things. You can see damage reversal, going to town, killing my stuff. Cast Lightning Bolt, that misses. So he runs forward into melee, like maybe this will go better. I've got a Vine Shield. He's blessed, he's my Prophet. But he ends up, I don't know if this was return damage. We resisted damage reversal. We kill one of them, but we've only got 14 HP. Part of the problem is we're in enemy dominion, so we got a bit of a penalty here. And then he just yoinks me. So that, in some ways, is a blessing and a curse because of something you're about to see. But that means our Prophet is not going to move to this other province to reinforce it and to bless the troops that get there. Meanwhile, we Cloud Trap East underwater to take his little pond that was near our throne. And Macone comes in here it's a kind of interesting kit. He's got a Ring of Returning Cyclops that Cloud Trap uses in, summons an air elemental, gets hit, and then disappears. So basically a waste of some air gems. And then coming down, pings him here unsuccessfully. Here we've got we clear out. We got attacked by some barbs. We cleared the barbs out. We cleared some spine devils out. We got attacked by. We're having some bad indie events, and we move our elephant army now on top of this fort. So that happens. And we have a battle here. This is going to be the unfortunate part of this turn. So this army does not get blessed because it doesn't have my prophet because he got killed by Hars. And now this is just woefully... But also my bless is offline. So because my bless is offline, it might have been good that they didn't come. And this is kind of a lot of skelly spam. I think I would have lost even more guys if my prophet had shown up. So probably good he actually died. Unfortunately, they steal my Dakini, which would be a bigger deal if I was worried more about Ctis staying in the game, because this is going to break him. Like, he can Gift of Reason these, or especially the Dakini is totally worth Gift of Reasoning. And that'll break him into blood, and it will give him blood to put in his communions. So I really don't like the idea of that. And I think it's actually a reason to not stay at peace with him, because now it's going to be like a blood Satis. So anyway, that happens. And then we storm this fort, and there's not much inside. I guess Vanheim has dedicated most of his defense efforts to the Macone front, and this place is a little barren, which works out just fine for us. And coming over here, we have a battle in Satis, in this fort, where I didn't think there was going to be much inside. A little bit of banishment. I'll run back here and kill it. And so, yeah, we lost a bit of chaff. Most of it was actually from the javelin throwers on the wall. And, yeah. Got another fort, so that's nice. And, yeah, that's basically it for this turn in terms of what happened. But if we kind of assess the significance of this... well, he's got a Fairy Queen, which... Does he have two? He has two Fairy Queens. Jesus, I didn't even notice that. Let's take a look at what he's got kitted on these Fairy Queens. I'm sure they're going to cast Storm. Oh, summon Air Elemental? That's an interesting script. I mean, it's not bad. Anyway, I guess he's got a lot of nature gems. So anyway, summoning some air... I assume he would kind of cast Storm. He didn't get a ton of my Rakshasa warriors. Yeah, I don't think he got any. He just got some of my blood mages. But we didn't kill anything. This is like this is a bit of a disaster, but it's a small disaster. And so anyway, in context to having won this battle, he feels pretty confident. And you can see it's still a good number of mages. He's got 3 Sauramancers and 8 white mages, and then 24 shamans. What he told me is basically, I don't think you can hold my capital anymore. And I had told him, too, that the real reason I went to war with him is if he took Vanheim, which he seemed pretty committed to do for multiple tries, and based on things he was saying in Diplo, I was pretty certain he was going to ally with Macone against me. So it made sense. I mean, I basically have no option. Like, if he took Vanheim, I basically have to war him. But even behind that, it just looked like he was posturing to ally with Macone and not to ally with me. And so it just made sense when I thought I had an advantage to take him out. Which you can see we're kind of doing. But it's at some cost. But what he's basically offered me now is he doesn't think I can hold any of the stuff I've taken from him. Which I do not agree with, by the way. But he says, not only do I not think you can hold it, I think you would value having me as an ally. And so his deal to me is this. And I think it's a very generous, reasonable deal. I would give him all the forts back I've taken, except for the candle. And all the land that I've taken. Which, I'm not in love with that idea, right? You know, I've never given somebody their cap freely back before. In return, he would promise to go to war as soon with Macone, but only when I do, and only once I've killed a bunch of Macone's stuff. So I think he said once I've killed 2,000 gold of Makone stuff, then that would trigger him to go to war, and he would do a major commitment, and he would be napped with me until, in that Makone war, he has taken Makone's cap, is I think the deal. But once he takes Makone's cap, then Makone's pretty committed to fighting him. It's going to be hard for him to get out. I mean, he could take Makone's cap and then back out and give Makone his cap back. That's pretty deep commitment. The problem, there's some problems. Let's think how this would play out. The good thing about it is it gives me peace to eat Vanheim. The bad thing about it is it kind of puts me on the clock. Like, if I want, I would rather have Vanheim and Satis as my land. And just spend time digesting it. But if I don't take this deal, then the pressure is kind of on me to go ahead and attack Makone. I could wait and let Satis build up. But I'm also at a time, like, I'm at a very strong timing for me right now. And Makone might not have all the super high, like, I don't, with Lanka, you don't exactly want to wait around to, like, ultra late game, because, or is it enchantment? Demonic Cleansing is freaking brutal. And it's usually kind of late coming out, but it's brutal. So I don't really want to wait around for that. I don't want to wait around for Undead Mastery, which Satis would do. I'm about to have all my stuff online. This turn, I probably could finish... Oh no, this turn I will finish Evocation 6. Which is going to give me Wrathful Skies, and it's also going to give me Wailing Winds. And those are going to make me very, very strong. And in fact, this army is significantly weaker than the first Satis army. My army is a little weaker. You can see we've already got 80 Sacreds, or really like 100. And then I'm going to get some more. I think I'm getting like 20 more. But I'm also preaching. I really want to get my Dominion up. Because I can now do a morale, like a full-fledged morale play. Which, he hasn't played a ton of multiplayer games. He may have read or seen or heard or, know about morale plays. But you don't really know about morale plays until you get completely wrecked by one and you want to cry. So, I feel a little obligated to give him that experience if we can. And I'll show you, basically it comes down to this. If I thought it would be a really attrition-y war, it makes sense to take him up on his offer, give him back his forts, and treat him as an ally going into fighting Makone. And that does leave you thinking, like, well, Lucid, if that's the case, why in the hell did you do this war to start with? Because all you've done is kill his stuff as a potential ally, and kill your stuff. And neither of those things are good, and you would be very right about that. And my reflection on that is that if when I declared war on him, I did that based off an assessment that I didn't think it was very strong at the time, after having lost his stuff in Vanheim, in conjunction with the fact that I thought I would win based off the technology I just researched. Which was mostly true, but I had underestimated, and part of that was due to lack of scouting, I had underestimated how many troops and mages he had. I mean, I knew he had a lot, but I had seen him lose at least like 60 mages. So... I wasn't expecting quite this many. Like the reinforcements just keep coming. So anyway, if he had shown me that, and like, you were going to have to fight this 500 stack with like 50 enslavers, like, you generally don't want to show people what you're going to have to fight because you kind of want to surprise them. So it'd be a little surprising for him to tell me what I would have to fight. But if he said, you're going to have to fight this if you fight me, and I would rather we skip that, where you fail your invasion of me, and we join up against Makone. I don't know. I think if he had shown me the size of that army, what I would have to fight through, especially if he told me, like, go test it, I probably would have taken him up on the offer. I think I would have. Because it was going to be very bloody. I was going to lose a lot. And the alternative of winning an easy war and then having a very solid ally, like, if he really promised... I trust the player. And if he really promised me he would fight Makone with me, then I think I would be on board with that. The problem now is I have come up with a way to kill this stack that he has. And I'll show you that. I'll show you that. We'll go. I'm going to pause it and pull it up. Okay, so I've got the test game pulled up. One thing I feel the need to justify is I've mentioned this is this guy's second multiplayer game, and I'm having to like min-max test shit, and I've played a bajillion. So I think it's worth. And he's like killed my god. He's done all these things. So first of all, like, you know, props to the guy. Second of all, I know him, you know, personally. I mean, not like in real life, but you know. Anyway, he's super smart. And it's definitely showing through that he is learning very, very quickly about Dominions, and does not like. He missed the one magic duel. He's never going to miss a magic duel again. So anyway, there's that. So here's what we're doing. I have been doing mass flight. I'm just going to forget about mass flight now. Instead, we're going to totally switch it up. We're going to not do mass flight. We're going to do storm. Though I may still need to do it, but we'll do it at least after storm goes up. We're not going to fly in. I may do it because he has some Earth excess on his Pretender, and I don't want to get earthquaked myself. He's not going to script Earthquake, though, I don't think, because it would be bad for him. But the other thing he can do with this Fairy Queens is he can mass flight himself, so I'm not going to be able to Earthquake him. Anyway. Yeah. What we're going to do, though, and I do need to, if he's going to be doing mass flight, I do need to be extra careful to protect my mages, like to bundle them together and to put dudes around them. So anyway, what we're going to be doing, though, is we're going to be doing, some of my scripting here is like not perfect. We're having one guy do Storm turn 1, which is Evocation 5. Right here, so Storm. Then, if we look at the timing, this is 100, Storm is 200, which means Storm actually gets cast at 100. What that means is the same time this is being done, this is getting put up. There's a small chance, it's like 50-50, I think, so it's not actually that small, that he starts queuing up his next spell before Storm has gone up, because it's actually like technically in parallel. I need a tiny, tiny little breather here. So what I'm going to do here is we'll just do like Air Shield, and then we'll do Wrathful Skies. Now, this guy has to be geared because my Sacreds have 10 shock resistance, but Wrathful Skies is 15. So when they get hit, they're going to take at least 5 damage. And that means it's going to get reflected back to my dude because they have Blood Vengeance. So we need to first of all stack MR gear on him. So we've got him up to 24. Ideally, we would do anti-magic, but I'm just not counting on anti-magic going up. So all my tests are going to assume I can't get anti-magic up. In the later parts of the game, I'll be able to get anti-magic up with golems, assuming I get Earth Astral. But for here, I really can't rely on it. Inverse Makon and stuff, I can probably get it up. But not... inverse Ubar, I probably could, but not versus these guys. Because they are way stronger in Astral than me. So, I mean, I might, but I'd need to bring probably like 9 Crystal Sorceresses and then spend a ton of pearls on each of them to have each of them scripted to do Power of the Spheres and anti-magic. So, anyway, that's where we are. Yeah, what are we doing? We're going to be doing Storm Power, Air Shield just to waste a turn, and then Wrathful Skies. We're also doing Wailing Winds, and we're also doing Blood Rain turn 1 and Bloodlust turn 1. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do Divine Blessing, so we actually probably should simulate this. We'll go ahead and do. I'm going to have to set up a Sabbath because my dude's dead. So we'll go ahead and do Sabbath Master and then Divine Blessing. And then I'm going to have 2 idiots who are just going to do Thunderstrike before. You're actually just going to have to become a Sabbath Slave. The thing is, because it's going to be such an important battle, I can't actually have one of my Raktapada be Sabbath Slaves. Because they're not reliable. They can get assassinated. So I'm going to have somebody who's reliable be a Sabbath Slave. You can see I haven't geared these guys up because I'm not going to be spamming the assassin part, but in the real game, my guys are, you know, the guys that I have guys that are coming in that are reliable because they have anti-assassin gear. Slave. Okay, you're just doing air elemental, so you'll also be a Sabbath slave. So that is going to reduce the number of casters and stuff I have, which sucks. But anyway, it's what's going to be required. And then for this guy too, we can probably, if he's going to be a Sabbath master now, we can probably have him do cooler shit. We're not going to have Rush of Strength, unfortunately. Bloodletting would probably be kind of cool. I can probably do this, which actually would be pretty good. Anyway, we'll do that. And yeah, that's basically going to be the script. My god is not coming. We're not doing Earthquake. The other thing that I've got is what I'll have to do in the turn is I'm going to have to... I've got basically... I got to switch the positioning. I want my Yogini, one of them, and this is kind of optional, but it's going to improve the outcomes, to do regeneration and enlarge on my Raksharaja, who's going to be casting Wrathful Skies. That's going to mean he's going to be taking damage, even with pretty good MR. And the regeneration and enlarge is going to prevent him from dying and hopefully also prevent him from routing. It'll keep him higher HP and have a bigger HP pool to work from. So anyway, he's going to be doing that. It's important, though, that he's not on the same tile. Like, ideally, I'd like to give this guy regeneration and enlarge too. But his HP is so much less than the bodyguards for the Wrathful Skies caster that I basically don't want to do that because the combined... He would rather target a tile with 2 bodyguards in it than a tile with him and the caster. So anyway, that's basically it. Let's see how it goes. I think you'll be pretty surprised. This is going to be... I think I might be bringing more dudes. I've tested this also with like fewer sacreds, like closer to what I'll actually have, like 110, because this is like 150. But I actually don't really need that many. And here I haven't given them mass flight or had them summon air elementals. I don't think that's going to matter too much. You can see we're not super vulnerable to air elementals from our fight with Femoria. So we already, very early, it's only battle round 2, we've already got a lot of things up. We've got Blood Rain, we've got Wailing Winds, and we have Natural Storm. And soon, but not yet, will be Wrathful Skies. And this, unfortunately, for Satis, there's not going to be a counter for him, or a way to deal with for a long time. He's going to need, like, Enchantment 8 to do Regen and Thunderfin to have a chance. I don't think he's going to have that time. Now, our guy in the back here has gotten fluffed up. He is size 4. We gave him a Coral Sword, too, to give him more HP, Ring of Regen, 2 things to get his MR up. So, anyway, he's doing okay. Nether Dart's coming out, which they seem to enjoy casting more than Enslaved Mind, which actually is really good for me. Because while Nether Darts is a good spell, it's not going to one-hit kill my dudes, though it will sometimes give them Feeble Mind. I don't know if we can see any here that have Feeble Mind on them, but some probably do. But you can see that the thing is, Satis... while I have many great attributes, great morale is not one of them. And that's actually one of the crippling weaknesses of Elite Warriors. When you use them, when you want to make sure they're on the best commanders, and if you can, stack morale items on them. And this is also, by the way, in Friendly Dominion. And if I can successfully convert Satis to my Dominion, then instead of being a +1 bonus, it's going to be a -1 penalty. And then this will happen even faster. But the mages don't even have great morale. With Blood Rain up, which is up, we'll watch the battle again, because I'll show you kind of how I expect it to go. We actually stole their Wraithlord, which is kind of funny. We end up stealing the Wraithlord in almost every fight that I've tested here. Or I think we do. Did he just disappear? So if we look at the final kind of battle toll here, I'm not sure which Raksharaja died, but we lost one of them. We lost a Raktapada. We lost a Yogini. Okay, yeah, we didn't get the Wraithlord. We actually convert him with Control Dead a lot of times. Importantly, the number we care about is how many Rakshasa warriors did we lose? And in this case, we lost 37. Which is kind of a lot, but kind of not many. And especially when you consider this is about twice the amount of mages he's actually going to bring. We've cut almost all these mage numbers in half. So he may reinforce some, but he's not going to have this many. So even if he's able to bring in similar amounts of chaff, he's not going to have nearly as many mages, which means these guys are going to die at a slower rate. So yeah. And what's nice is because I'm already having to put MR gear on the guy that's going to be casting Wrathful Skies. He's going to have a lot of kills, so they're going to try to Vengeance of the Dead him. But he's going to be pretty hard to hit. And if I want to, I can just sacrifice, Cloud Trapeze him out, and then they can't target him, and I'll put he'll just go sit at home and make Rakshasa warriors or something, and I'll have somebody else be the Wrathful Skies caster. So I can just cycle him out too as another option. But you can see this was a pretty darn decisive win for me. Lose not very much. Completely wreck them. And this honestly is way worse than it had gone. We'll watch it again. I'm actually not sure why it didn't go or why it went so badly. I can also put them in a line formation too. That'll help a lot with surface area. Because I really want to take his little... I don't really want to do a lot of melee damage at the front. I just kind of want to hang out there. If we look at Wrathful Skies, we can see it is coming in and occasionally deleting him. Luck is going to help protect them from it, but if they get hit by it, they're fucked. Oh, it could be Blood Vengeance. I mean, it could be Bloodletting. It's possible that was not a great idea. Bloodletting definitely didn't improve my outcome. It may have made things worse. So anyway, that's basically what I think we're gonna do. And if I couldn't have a battle that was this decisive, I think I would be tempted to just say, let's not have a grindy war, and I'll give you your cap back. I wouldn't even really ask for any of the forts, because I think the deal he made was about the best he could. But it's a deal. It's a deal that is really based on the assumption that I cannot hold his capital. And kill that army. And in fact, I think not only is that not the case, I think I will decisively win his capital. If we look at what I have coming in, we've got, so let's count sacreds. We've got 5, 10, 80, I'm sorry, 5, 10, 90, 100, 106. We've got 106 sacreds, plus I'm getting 1, 2, 3, 4 more, plus 4 more sacreds. So that's I do need to see who here has the most kills. 49, that's kind of a lot. 42. I probably need to put amulets of anti-magic on everybody. 2, don't have to worry about you. 1, 11, 3, 8, 15, 9. Okay, nothing terribly scary here. He's probably going to keep hitting me with whatchamacallit every single turn. Vengeance of the Dead and whatchamacallit. Vengeance of the Dead and why can't I talk? Manifestation. So it's going to put a lot of strain. I'm going to need even more. The Assassin Shaft to help with Manifestation. It's not going to help with Vengeance of the Dead. The only way to help with Vengeance of the Dead is... I don't think I even need this. I think you need Amulets of Anti-Magic. I probably need to make more of those. I've got more Astral Mages sitting around. So we'll have to fill that up as best I can. And that's another reason to change my Dominion. The sooner I can get this to be drain scales, the better. The plan here, have 5 of these guys preach. We're going to have these 2 guys preach. And then everybody else is going to be doing... I only got 2 kills, okay. I guess I should make sure that MR gear is concentrated on the highest kill dude. So make sure... Actually, that probably is what I'll do. I might even give him the soul armor. No, but I'm going to need the soul armor next turn. I'm not going to risk it. We'll just put an Amulet of Anti-Magic on the highest kill dude. The soul armor is going to be very, very important next turn. For being able to cast Wrathful Skies. So anyway, yeah, that's what we're doing. More Markata. We're getting one of these idiots. And here we're getting a Yogini who'll be able to join the fight. We're also pulling in more of our commanders here. And I don't know who has... Some of these probably have more kills. And they'll end up being sort of sponges. 18, 30. Those are all okay. They'll have to get hit multiple times. But if we look at the total number of troops we're going to have coming in, we've already done the math on the Sacreds. On the Undead front, we're going to have 60, 120, 170. It's not actually that many. Well, I'll have reinforcements. Where are these guys going? These guys are going here. They'll be able to join. So, yeah, I'm going to have another 160 who can join for the fight on Satis. Because what's probably going to happen this turn is he storms this fort. I mean, I can Gym Burn him, too. I was going to have these guys break siege and retreat. Which probably makes sense. I think they can get off the field before the Enslaved Mind comes out. But you never know. What he could do is just get on top of... And it would actually be fine with me, because it's going to basically guarantee we have a fight. He could storm this fort with whatever little he has and move a bunch of his stuff on top of Satis. And then I'd have to break out and fight. But I'm fine doing that. And nobody here is moving and patrolling. So, anyway. The other thing he could do is, in case I raid, he could move stuff around. But I think he's going to want to get his capital back. So anyway, I think that's basically the plan. Take a fight with Wrathful Skies and Blood Rain and Wailing Winds. The things I need to make sure I have in order to do that is I must have a Skull Staff, which I have. That's really the main one, because that's required on a Death 2, which I've got 1 Death 2, 2 Death 2s. I've got 2 Death 2s. One of them will need to carry that Skull Staff to do Wailing Winds. And we're moving in these guys. None of them are Death 2s. So if they somehow killed both my Death 2s, I'd be in a very sad place. I think without Wailing Winds, it doesn't work. Though I've got one here too, so I could technically probably teleport her in. I think, too, I could potentially, like, raid here. I want to start locking down some of his forts and shutting down production. But talking through it with you guys, I think the right move is to just push forward and take it, like, finish. If I can win a decisive fight and have Satis, this is going to be really hard for me to deal with. I think even if... The thing is, like, even though I believe he'll be my ally against Makone, if Makone starts crumbling, Ubar is going to eat Makone. And Ubar is a lot scarier of a nation than Makone is, even though the Makone player may be a very good player. And then we'll be in a game where I have to fight Satis and Ubar as Makone is dying. But I'll be the biggest by far, so that guarantees that alliance. I mean, it's possible I could win by then. Like, get these 2 thrones and I think I win, right? Let's look at the throne situation. 13 to win. So you have to get... you have to basically get 6, but one of them has to be the level 3 throne. Oh no, but there's some of these that are level 1. So I've basically got it. Like, if we look at my throne points right now, I've got 5, 7, and then 8. So I've got 8. So I would have to get... yeah, I'd have to get 5 more, which would mean probably, or definitely 3 more thrones. So I'd have to get 3 more. So I'd be like this one, and this one. But that would really involve conquering Satis. I could go after one of these. I just don't see... I think if I do this plan where I let Satis have his stuff back, then I end up having to fight him later with Ubar. And honestly, I'm not worried about fighting Makone at all. And that could be misguided. Makone, this is post-patch now, so Makone's gotten the buff. So not only did they have a really cool kind of galaxy brain build with alchemy and then having tons of money and then a bunch of things. They're playing Makone in a really cool way. But now Makone is actually a good nation. The fact that you can get Archons everywhere. And this Makone in particular is rich as shit, so he's going to be just making forts and Archons. So he's going to be having Cloud Trapezing idiots and Fire 3 mages doing Firestorm all over the place. And so anyway, Makone's not, by any means, not scary at all, but I'm far more scared about Ubar. So I think what makes sense, like, I think a better position for me is I eat a lot of Vanheim. I eat a lot of Satis. Ideally, if that happens, especially because Makone is going to be very close to a throne victory. If he gets this Satis throne, and then he gets this throne, he's going to be very, very close, like closer than me. And it's a much easier war for Ubar to fight Makone. And Ubar loves these big borders. And versus me, he'd have to go through choke points where I could patrol out his assassins and all of this business. I think if I do that, I can convince Ubar to join me against Makone. Or maybe Ubar just lets both of us fight together, which is I'm also okay with. Like, me having all of Satis and most of Vanheim, fighting Makone, I think I win that war. And then he'll probably just backstab whoever's winning. I think that's the optimal play for Ubar. Let us fight and backstab. I prefer that to us eating Makone and then me being obviously the big bad guy, where I then have to definitely and immediately face Satis, maybe some remnants left of Makone, and Ubar. And then probably the Ocean Nations too. Some of this could just be me talking myself into, avoiding, like I've already sunk a lot. There's a lot of sunk cost in having taken Satis, and I've already lost a lot, and it could be me just trying to rationalize getting it back. But I think winning a war, taking a bunch of this land, getting... Let's see what throne Satis has. I know I knew before, but I haven't looked in a while. Yeah, this would be nice. Help me with some path access. Like, I don't have fire right now, so that would be nice. And death +1, I think it would be worth it. It would take us down a growth scale, but we would really like the 5 death income. They're both level 2 thrones, too. And these lands are pretty rich. So I think we're going to go after it. We're going to indeed continue the fatwa with the lizards. But I think it's going to be with a caveat. If I suffer a major defeat or any kind of defeat that makes me think I can't hold Satis, then we'll probably peace out. The sad thing about that is that if it comes down to that, like if I'm unsuccessful in conquering Satis, or it is so expensive that it's not worth it, and instead it would be better to kind of cut losses and go after Makon, it will suck a lot if I end up choosing that option, but I kill a bunch of Satis, my future potential ally, and my troops at the time. And it's going to make it harder to have a good alliance with Satis, because Satis is going to be probably pretty salty that I decided against it. But if he can, like, if he wins this fight, like if he comes on top of Satis, we have the fight and he wins somehow, like he figures out some bullshit to cheese me with, then I'll give him his capital, I think. So, and then we'll go back to peace. If he doesn't want to do a peace deal where we go against Makon, I'll probably, I know I can economically overpower him, but I don't really want to economically overpower him more than I'm already doing, if you feel me. The other thing that I have to do, obviously, is get my god back this turn. So we've got everybody on Call of God duty. I think I've got 55 holy levels calling God. I need to go back and check it before I submit my turn. But that's basically the idea. We've got a lot of priests, fortunately. So we'll get our god back, and then my god has to stay in hiding. And if she ever comes out in public, fortunately she has glamour, so I'm just going to move her out of the cap. But, yeah. I might even magic phase her. Oh no, I can't magic phase her. We're going to get her out of the cap ASAP. Right? Fortunately, she's going to have MR bonus in my capital, and I'm not 100% sure he can reach. But we're not really going to risk it if we can help it. She's going to have to go do other things other than participate in combat. We needed her for that one fight to win with Earthquake, but now we're going to have to do other cheese. But that's the other thing we're doing this turn, getting our god back. We'll be able to get a prophet in not too long. Our prophet was a hero, though he's not on the list right now. But we could potentially get him back. The thing is, we don't really care about a prophet that much anymore, because once we get Blood A, we're going to have Mandahas, which are going to be in all of our big armies, and they can do turn 1 Divine Blessing, so not too much to worry about there. The more I think about it, the more I like the idea of getting rid of Satis and his manifestation cheese, and he's going to have potentially Tarts later, and Vengeance of the Dead. If he's down, Satis is scarier in the late game than Makon. I think I would have been, if we could go back in time, I would have chosen to ally him and go in against Makon, but he's scary enough in the late game, and I'm far enough ahead. I think I'm going to push my advantage here. So he had some very particular terms about, that prevented him from getting out of his nap with me until Makon fell, and, all of this, so that he could follow the letter, and he'd be hard committed to being my ally. I mean, I think it was a really ingenious offer, but I just don't think I can accept it. So anyway, I actually went back and started this whole recording thing from, turn 30 where I had left off before, just to get to this point to just talk through it, because I really wasn't sure. I felt like I probably shouldn't once I figured out I could win the battle, but I wasn't confident. Anyway, now we're a little bit more confident, having talked through it. And I don't really want to give up this ground. The other thing, too, is my blood economy stuff is starting to dry up. Like, you can see our population's kind of dying here. Like, here we're blood hunting this. It's pretty barren. We're blood hunting this. It's pretty barren, but we got some nice blood slaves out of it, at least this turn. This place is starting to go barren. We need new lands. And we're going to get some out of Vanheim, for sure. But we need even more. So, anyway, that's that. Enough of that conflict. Let's talk about what we're going to do with Vanheim. If I have a battle here, The problem is people will know that my bless is online, and that's going to make Satis less zealous. Less zealous to attack me, because he'll know my god's back. It's also going to cue him that he could potentially Vengeance of the Dead my god. I think instead what I'm going to do... I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I was thinking... You know, what I could do is just send him somewhere else, like raid this and not have them bless. And then that would obscure the fact that my god is back online. Try to have no battles this turn that show my bless. That may not be the worst idea. I also kind of want to get on top of Macone's capital. I mean, on top of Vanheim's capital. But I think I want to do that next turn. I can't remember. Let's look at Vanheim's Bless, too. I can't remember if he has shock resistance. If he doesn't, I can also Wrathful Skies him. Yeah, he doesn't. So I can Wrathful Skies him, too, potentially. But I kind of need more anti-magic gear. Anyway, guys. Those are all things I'm going to have to figure out. I think... it's worth not taking this fort this turn to obscure my bless. I do probably want to go on top of Vanheim next turn, and I do want to see if Vanheim's going to try to defend here. So I think we're going to do that. I think we're going to come here. I'm going to get rid of Divine Blessing. We'll do Bloodlust. And then... we'll do like Thunderstrike or something. We'll do this. No blessing, so I have to remember to come back and fix this army. But anyway, this will give me this province. It'll set me up to go either back on top of this the next turn, or also, too, I can probably... I mean, it may be worth it just to send an idiot up here. And then if he doesn't come and knock me off, then we can just storm it and try to take it. Maybe we get lucky. I mean, that is a distinct possibility. We're going to need more anti-magic gear. So I think that's the play. We're going to hide that our god is awake. Then what's going to happen, what I hope will happen, is Satis will take this fort. Next turn he'll see that he'll have no evidence that my god is back online. He's probably not going to think I'm going to one turn call it back. And he'll think, okay, I can take a fight here without worrying about Lucid's god. And he's going to have massive reinforcements, like whatever he can bring. There's going to be probably like a 200 stack here with more mages. And then we're going to have a fight here on top of Satis. If it's my Dominion, I clearly win it, I think. That's how that's going to happen. He'll like insta-route. Like if we look at let's look at the morale of his dudes. This is his actual army. 13. Friendly Dominion squad morale bonus. Oh shit, he's got a really good leader. Not the Atavi chieftain. It shouldn't be that guy either. Maybe they're under his god? I don't see anybody here who's such a good leader. I mean, this is one of the best guys, but damn. That is a big squad. Oh, it must be from... No, but he doesn't have Taskmaster either. Squad morale bonus. Who's giving that much? 80 shouldn't give +3. 40 gives neutral. 80 is +1. It could be one of the high priests or something. I mean, it's not the fairy queens. The lizard king is who it is. Okay. +2. $55. Maybe there's a standard mixed in there with him too. But anyway, if I can get this, this will be -2, so it'll be 12, which means it'll drop to 8. They're going to get completely wrecked by Wrathful Skies, but yeah, I mean, that difference will matter. See, my Bless, like, almost totally offline right now. Anyway, guys, I think that's it. I think we're going to try to finish this Ctis war. Over here, we're going to stall a turn, and then we're going to go snack on Vanheim. I should, and I think I will. I think we're going to take Redivinator. I think we're going to send him to raid over here. Doing some bullshit like this. And that will give us another province, a bit more income. You can see right now we're really income rich. I need to actually build temples and stuff. I wonder if I have... Let's send this guy up too. He can upgrade this fort. I probably need to stockpile this with assassins. This is going to be one of the... and patrol it, and this will be one of the important entrances to my kingdom. We can see Ubar has most of these candles over here. And he's got this candle down here. So the candles are kind of owned by Ubar. And I don't really want him elfing me through the candles. I mean, he can magic phase through them and, like, hit me with cloud trapeze and stuff, which I'm okay with. But I don't want him sneaking in assassins, if I can help it. So ideally I patrol here and here, and I don't think he can map move through all of them, and I can catch assassins coming in. And that's kind of long-term planning. He also can sneak people through this way, and I've got some choke points here. I can kind of catch him. If he comes through the land, it's going to take him longer, but he can get him through. Anyway, hopefully that doesn't matter, but you never know with elves. And I think that is about it. So I need to tell... Can I move all the way over here? No. Can I move here? No. I need to tell Satis that we're going to be at war, which he's not going to be very excited about. And he's also going to know that if I say that I think I can win this fight, which may cause him to be extra cautious or something. And I think I just have to say no without giving him too many reasons. So we'll see what I say. I'm not really sure, but... at any rate, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. And thank you for letting me just ramble on as I bounce ideas around. And I will see you next time.